Hello my dear students, today we will be discussing on the torque speed characteristics or the 4 quadrant of operation of a electric drive. So let us first understand the sign convention or of the torque speed characteristics of this torque speed plane. So here in the x-axis we are representing the torque as tau, that is plus tau. In the negative x-axis the torque is represented as minus tau. In the plus y-axis we are representing the speed or the positive speed as plus omega. In the negative axis we are representing the speed as minus omega. So if we look at the first quadrant, both the torque and speed are positive and the operation is called motoring. Now we shift from the first quadrant to the second quadrant. So what are the signs in the second quadrant? You can see that the torque has become negative, but the speed is remaining as positive. Now we will shift from the, so we have migrated from the first quadrant to the second quadrant. Now we will migrate from the second quadrant to the third quadrant. Now you see what has happened. The torque is negative, but in the third quadrant the speed has also become negative. Now we shift from the third quadrant to the fourth quadrant. So now here the speed is negative, but the torque has become positive. So these are the sign conventions in all the 4 quadrants. So now this positive and negative things, let us clarify a bit more. So positive speed becomes or means clockwise rotation. The positive torque means clockwise rotational force. Negative speed means the counterclockwise or anti-clockwise rotation. And negative torque, that means counterclockwise or anti-clockwise torque. So these sign conventions you have to remember, and what is meant by positive and negative of each of the parameters, that is torque and speed, you have to remember. So that means if you see the first quadrant, the speed is positive, that means clockwise, the rotation is clockwise, and the torque is also positive, and that is called motoring. That is called motoring. Now as you migrate from the first quadrant to the second quadrant, you see that there is a sign change in the torque, but there is no sign change in the speed or direction of the speed. If the direction of rotation is clockwise, as we have assumed during motoring, in the second quadrant also it is clockwise, but the force has become negative. So if the force or the torque was clockwise in the first quadrant, in the second quadrant it has become counterclockwise, and that's why there is a sign change over here. The sign change is over here. That means what does it imply? There is no change of direction of rotation of the rotor. The rotation is rotating in the clockwise direction, but there is a negative force. So what will happen to the rotor? The rotor will slow down. The rotor will slow down, and hence the second quadrant is also called forward braking. So the first quadrant is called forward motoring. So the first quadrant is called forward motoring and the second quadrant is called forward braking. Now let us migrate from the second quadrant to the third quadrant. So what is our first observation? The torque is negative. The sign of the torque is not changing from the second to third. It is in both the cases negative. That means now the torque is, initially it was counterclockwise in the second quadrant, in the third quadrant also it is counterclockwise, so there is no sign change. But what about the direction of rotation? The direction of rotation has become negative, so there is a sign change in the direction of the rotation. So the direction of rotation has become now counterclockwise or anti-clockwise from its previous clockwise direction of rotation, which was there in the second quadrant. So now the torque is negative and the rotational direction is also negative. So it is again called motoring. But how different is this motoring in the third quadrant from the motoring in the first quadrant? In the first quadrant motoring, both the torque and speed were positive, but in the third quadrant they are both negative. So what is happening? What it will be called? It is called reverse motoring. Now as you migrate from the third quadrant to the fourth quadrant, what do you see? You see that from the third to the fourth quadrant there is no change in sign of speed. In the third quadrant it was anti-clockwise, the speed. In the fourth quadrant it is also anti-clockwise. But what about the torque? The direction of the force, or the rotational torque, or the rotational force, it has got changed from anti-clockwise or counterclockwise in the third quadrant to clockwise in the fourth quadrant. So what it is called when there is a change in force? It is called braking. It is called braking. When there is a change in force, it is called braking. But how different is this braking in fourth quadrant from the second quadrant braking? In this braking, it is called reverse braking. So one thing you have to take care, that there is a reversal of force. There I will just cleanly draw it again. There is a reversal of force as you migrate from the first to second quadrant, and there is a reversal of force while you are migrating from the third quadrant to the fourth quadrant. So from here to here the force becomes positive to negative. From the third to the fourth it is from negative to positive. So you are applied a negative force on the motor. The motor is getting a reverse force. That means, what does it imply? It implies that the force at which the motor is rotating, when a reverse force is applied, that means you did not use that power, or you need not utilize that power. It is not needed. That power which is rather dissipated, or that is used up by the rotor, that is not required at all. So rather than non-requirement of the power, the power which is not useful, what we are supposed to do with that power? There are some options. Either we can waste that power as heat energy through a braking resistor, but if we waste that power in a braking resistor as I square R loss, what will happen? The efficiency of the system will fall, because all the power will be dissipated in the resistor as heat energy. So the power is wasted in the resistor. So rather than wasting the power in the resistor, what if we can return back the power to the supply? So that is called braking or regeneration. That is called regenerative braking. I will elaborate this regenerative braking in the upcoming lectures, but it is called regeneration. That's why here you see the regenerating terms have been used. So now it is a very elaborate diagram or a detailed 4-quadrant operation diagram which is given over here. So what it is given over here, you can see that what we can see, there is a pulley belt like arrangement. In one side of the pulley there is a loaded cage. Just observe the first quadrant. There is a loaded cage over here. There is a loaded cage over here, and the other side of the pulley, a counterweight is connected. So there is some loaded cage in the right side of the rope, and in the left side of the rope there is a counterweight. So what is our objective? We have to move this loaded cage in the upward direction. So before doing that, let us assume, or let us define some parameters. Tau L, that is called load torque. Tau M, that is called motor torque, and omega, that is equal to motor speed. So these are the symbols or notations that will be used while explanation. So that means one thing is very clear, that if you just want to move the loaded cage upwards, so what should be the direction of rotation? Obviously the direction of rotation should be in the anti-clockwise direction. It should be in the anti-clockwise. That means anti-clockwise. So the speed will be definitely in the anti-clockwise direction. What about the motor torque? Obviously the motor will try to move the loaded cage upwards, and it has to develop a counterclockwise or anti-clockwise motor torque as shown by red mark. That means in the counterclockwise direction. But what is the opposing force? The opposing force is the loaded cage, and as per Newton's law, as per gravitational pull, it should be downwards. That means the load torque is in the counterclockwise, or sorry, in the clockwise direction. So now you see, obviously the motor torque and the load torque, they will be in opposite direction. The load is trying to move downwards and the motor torque is trying to move it upwards. So this is the dynamics of the system. So the motor will try to move the load upwards and the load is trying to go downwards. And obviously there is a counterweight. It is given by Cw. So the counterweight has to be there. So have you observed a lift? We have seen lifts. So if you see the lift, there is a counterweight. In the cage of the lift where the peoples are being carried, it is on the one end of the wire or the belt, whatever you say. In the other end there is the counterweight. Now as I move from the first quadrant to the second quadrant, what is happening? The loaded cage, initially it was here, but here you see the empty cage. That means the load has been lifted off. So now the empty cage, the cage here becomes empty. So now what will be the condition of the load? So the counterweight will try to move the empty cage in this particular direction, in the downward direction. So now the load torque has got reversed. It has now become anti-clockwise. So now the tau L is in the anti-clockwise direction because the cage is empty here. Here the cage was loaded. So as it becomes empty, it becomes, the direction of the load torque becomes reversed. So now if the motor torque continues to move in the same direction, that means in the original direction, that means in the anti-clockwise direction, what will happen? The system will become unstable. This empty cage will just pull out over this entire system will collapse. It will just overturn like this. So the motor torque has to change its direction. So the motor torque will become from the anti-clockwise to the clockwise direction. And obviously what will happen? The speed it was moving in the upward direction, the speed will reduce. The direction of rotation will be positive. It was like this. Initially also it was like this. Here also it is like this. But the speed will reduce. That's why it is called braking. Now it has braked. Now what has to be done? It has stopped. Now the load torque, it is again in this particular direction. That means anti-clockwise in the third quadrant. But the pan has to reach downwards. So the motor torque, it was already there in the anti-clockwise direction in the second quadrant. Now it is also in the clockwise direction in the third quadrant. But what happens to the speed? The speed was in the anti-clockwise direction because it was slowing down. Now the rotor will rotate in the opposite direction. So the speed becomes clockwise. And the empty cage is now moving downwards. Now what happens? As the empty cage just try to reach in the floor for being loaded, what will happen? The floor is approaching. Now the motor has to slow down. Now the cage has been loaded. So now as the cage has been loaded, the load torque shifts from anti-clockwise direction to clockwise direction in the fourth quadrant. Now the motor torque obviously has to change its direction because If it is in the clockwise direction, so the load torque and the motor torque will be in the same direction and the entire system will collapse. So the motor torque should become anti-clockwise from its original. On the third quadrant its direction was clockwise, now it should become anti-clockwise. So the motor torque will should become anti-clockwise, but the direction of rotation is same, it is in the clockwise direction. But what is happening? It is slowing down, it is braking. As it is approaching the bottom, it should slow down. So it is called reverse braking. So this is all the 4-quadrant operation. So the sign conventions, you have to be very clear regarding the sign conventions.